Begin in child's pose. Hips are back to your heels. Forehead rests down onto the mat as you extend your arms out. Let your hips be heavy as you take 3 grounding breaths here, allowing yourself to come into your practice, separating from your day. Slowly begin to lift up. Make your way into tabletop position. Hands stacked right under your shoulders, knees under your hips. Begin warming up the spine through a couple of rounds of cat and cow. So as you inhale, pull your chest through, lift your crown of the head and tailbone, and exhale as you press the ground away and round. On your next inhale, lift up through your left knee. Begin drawing full circles and extend the foot behind you, flexing, spreading the toes. And then take it on the right side. So extend the right leg behind, pull the knee around as you create these hip circles here, loosening up through your hip flexors. Continue to stay connected with your breath. On your next inhale, tuck the toes and send the hips up to downward facing dog. Take a few breaths to pedal out the legs to find some movement here to waken up the hamstrings. On your next inhale, right heel sweeps to the sky. Step the foot through the hand. Soften the left knee down to the mat for your low runner's lunge. Let the hips be heavy here, but don't let the knee extend over the ankle. And shift your hips back for half split. Toes point up to the sky, breathing into your right hamstring. Shift the hips back forward, and then lift up through the hands, low crescent lunge. Plant the hands and step back to downward facing dog. On your next inhale, left heel sweeps to the sky. Step the foot through the hands, low runner's lunge. Let the hips be heavy here. And then as you exhale, send the hips right back to half split. Breathing into the hamstrings, shift the weight back forward and lift up through the arms for your low crescent lunge. Release the hands down, frame the foot, step back to downward facing dog. On your next inhale, right heel sweeps high to the sky. Bring the knee to the right wrist as you square the hips down for half resting pigeon. If you notice that the right hip is lifted off of the mat, just grab a blanket or a towel just to fill that space before you allow yourself to release down to the mat, maybe to your forearms, maybe bringing your head down to the mat, breathing into that right hip flexor. On your next inhale, slowly lift yourself back up. Tuck the back toe and step back to downward facing dog. Inhale, left heel high. Exhale, pull the knee to the wrist, setting up for half resting pigeon on the other side. Squaring off the hips, inhaling the chest forward, and exhale, gently hinging forward for rest. Continue to breathe into that left hip flexor. And on your next inhale, gently lift back up onto your hands. Send the hips right back up, downward facing dog. Inhale the right knee high. Begin taking little hip circles on each side to just loosen up and counter through the hips. And gently soften your knees down to the mat. Shift your hips over to one side as you swing your legs out in front of you. Inhale your hands high to the sky. Gently hinge forward, bringing your belly to meet your thigh. So option to have a little bit of a rounding action here, and then make your way down to your back. Pull your knees into your chest. Gently wrap your arms around. Release any tension through the low spine here. Supine pigeon. Cross your right ankle over your left knee. Option to bring your hands to the back of the thigh or on top of the knee. Pulling that figure four towards your face, flexing the foot in order to protect the knee before releasing, taking it on the other side. Option to find little hip rocks here, movement, whatever feels good. And then finally release. Soles of the feet come together as you come into Supta Baddha Konasana, or reclining butterfly position. Knees come outward, breathing into the hips. Hands can go overhead for a little bit of a heart opening stretch. We release them down to your belly. Take 3 grounding breaths here. That's it for today's practice. Have a great day.